Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Scott Schilling Speaks. This is going to be a fun one. We've got a friend that's in Ohio right now, but came from a lot further away. Uh, Danijela, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is
How
going
are
to
you?
be fun. I'm great. So you came to the United States at 8 years of age from Bosnia, speaking no English and knowing nobody other than your family. What was that like?
Mhm. So Scott, the only English word that I knew was a swear word.
Well, sometimes helpful, but probably not
Not
foundational.
not as a second grader. I don't know if it would have taken me that far. Um, well, I was definitely brought here kicking and screaming. Like they literally had to drag me inside the airplane because I didn't want to come. Being brought somewhere where you have no idea what to expect, on top of not knowing how to communicate and just being thrown inside a school system that is not anywhere near what you're used to. It was scary.
Absolutely. So how did you handle all that? How did you take that on? And um, I mean, very you speak English very well. I I would not have known that because you've now taken that path to educate yourself and give everybody a little uh, snapshot into your path to get to where you are today.
I think it being that little isn't so dramatic in learning a different language and adjusting to things as it was for my sisters. They were older, they knew more, they already had their kind of roots in the ground back home. And for me, those years were a lot of ESL classes, English as a second language, a lot of those classes. I had great teachers. I really did. I didn't get into having issues with being foreign until I got to middle school. So by the time I learned English and all that, I think I had a lot of guardian angels through the path. It was once I got to middle school that became an issue. Kids are grown. There's bullying, there's all this, and I think down that path was more challenging than
Sure.
me learning a second language or adjusting to a new country.
So then obviously you move through all that and you go to the university and come away with a couple of degrees. What are your degrees in?
Well, to be honest, Scott, I didn't get my degree until 2 years ago.
Okay. That's
So I didn't go to college right after high school.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome that you stuck with it and got it.
I did. And I had it takes that special kind of person to walk into your life to kind of push you, to give you some guidance. The people that come into your life, they come in for a reason, season, or a lifetime. Well,
Mhm.
this person definitely came into my life for a reason. And that reason was to get me to go back to school.
That's
So
awesome.
I did that as a single mom, working two jobs, a full-time student. And I don't think I had time to think about anything else. It was a fast-paced. So I finished my degree business in business management. And then I went and got two licenses. I got my life license in insurance, and I got my PNC license in insurance. So I kept those alive for just in case,
Awesome.
kind of backup plans.
Good to have.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Those 2 years flew by. Um, but I can't say it was challenging. I
It
I
it
honestly can't
wasn't
say
challenging.
no.
Why is that?
I don't know if it was it was so on a rhythm that I didn't have time to actually think about um how hard it was. I think I needed to get it done and I got it done. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You just kept on moving forward through it until it was done. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then when it was done, I was like,
Look at this. I've got a degree. Not,
yeah.
you are not unlike many people that take that path, but that puts you on a little different path. How long ago did you start your daily gratitude calls?
It hasn't, we just today, Scott, started day 1 of season 11. So 11 months ago.
Very nice.
11
And
months ago
what was the
today.
start of that? What was the genesis of it? And then we'll talk about the call and some of the things we find out.
So Scott, I was reading your book, That Sucks What Now? And we were planning on going to vacation to Myrtle Beach. And I was probably my last chapter or two. And I was like, I need something to read while I'm down there. And we stopped at FedEx, out of all places. We stopped at FedEx to kind of just I think my fiance had to mail something, and I don't know. We were in there for some reason. To be honest, I don't remember what it was. And I look over to my side, and all I could see was the secret,
Mhm.
that stamp, the red
Right.
stamp from The Secret on this book, and it's called The Magic. And I was like, oh, this has to be either a sequel or something to The Secret. So I just picked it up. I was like, well, after I'm done with Scott's book, I'm like, I will read this while I'm down there. Well, come to find out, it's not your ordinary book that you just read chapters. Like
Actually
you
had
just read,
some workbook in it.
yeah. It had like daily activities. So what I did is I started doing the daily activities, and I started to post them live on Instagram. So while I was on vacation and as I was reading, I would talk about the book. I started implementing the book, and then my whole world changed once I started implementing the things that are inside the book. So I was telling Mr. Murphy and Rhonda about it, and Sean goes, start a call. And I was like, no, no, I'm not. I'm like, who's going to listen to me? I'm not going to sit here every single day. He's like, Daniela, start a call. Do you know what kind of movement you can make, the difference you can make in people's lives? And I'm like, I'm scared. I was scared. I was scared. Just like I was scared to come on this today. I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I finally started the call. And here we are 11 months later, every single day. We don't miss a day, no holidays. And if I can't make it, if something happens in my day, Sean jumps in, Rhonda jumps in. People on my call are more than willing to read the chapters for that day. So it has been an incredible ride so far.
So how do people relate to the gratitude process and what you're doing with the show then, or with that call? Uh, how do they interpret gratitude, or how have they changed along the way?
All I can say for that, I've seen people not go on dialysis. I've seen people come out of cancer free. I've seen people's lives change, marriages that were saved. My personal marriage was saved. I've seen magical checks being received, unexpected money that they would never think to come into their lives. I've also seen personally, Michelle Murphy wrote out a check within 48 hours. She received her check by
That's amazing.
doing these gratitude steps. I mean, the things that we have And I'm so glad that it's recorded, that people have awoken to, and the life changes that they have made and that they're still making. Because I know every time we read this book, because we reread it every month, I hear something different. Sean hears something different. Ronna hears something different. We all hear something different. The book never changed.
Right.
It's the growth in us that has changed. And it's just seeing that daily and hearing people's stories makes me just want to continue.
So how has it changed your life as you're doing these daily gratitude calls, getting to encourage other people to be grateful for things in their life? How has that affected you personally?
So there's a thing called, why can't I think of it right now? Reciprocation.
Law of reciprocity.
Yes, thank you. See?
All good.
So, yeah. So the more that everyone else around me practices gratitude, even with the people on my call, the more I personally practice gratitude. I see it in my fiance. I see it in my children. People are changing around me that they're not doing anything. My fiance not one time has ever picked up this book and did any of those. But I can hear him as his days go by. And if I'm in a grumpy mood, he'll check me. I'm like, wait, what is going on? He's like, aren't you the one who does a gratitude call every single day? I said, I'm allowed to have a bad day too. He goes, but not for long.
It's true. You can have an incident.
Yes.
Just not a day.
So even my son, my youngest, he's 9. He will sit there on my side and listen to my calls. He will use gratitude. The text messages that I'm getting from him from vacation, he's actually on vacation with his father right now, are tremendous. The amount of gratitude in this kid's text messages are like, what? And you don't see that as you're going through it. You don't see the effect that you have on the people around you, even though they're not doing it. And you're doing it for them until they catch you slipping a little bit and they uplift you.
So what's that feel like as a mom to get those texts?
That is not a feeling I think that can be put into words, Scott. It is a vibration from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes. Your whole body just vibrates at a whole new level.
That's awesome. It sounds
Yeah.
like something that other people might want.
Absolutely.
So how important is being consistent at all of this and doing it on a daily basis?
You want personal or other stories?
Whatever you want to share. Some of both. Why not?
So for me personally, if I'm not consistent with gratitude, I leave room for the enemy to come in and put his fingers through everything I've worked hard for. From relationships to personal growth to, we just talked about addiction to approval. Yeah. To self-worth. It will come in and pick at you at every angle possible. I know that I went through 41 days of hell. When I say the consistently 41 days, I went to a Tony Robbins event at Sean's house. I wrote a statement that Sean, Rhonda, and I, we are done with the BS and we're moving on. And all 3 of us signed it. Scott, when I came home from that event, I had an eviction notice at my door.
Interesting.
This is 40 days, 40, no, this is 30 days. The eviction notice. Yes, it gave me 30 days to move out, and this was right before Christmas.
Gotcha.
Finding a home before Christmas
Sure.
was, it was not possible.
And
We
yet
find
you
a
did-
home.
and yet you did it.
And yes, I did. In the last minute, last hour, last second, everything came together because I chose to be consistent with my gratitude. It wasn't because I was inconsistent, but when I became inconsistent, that's what happens.
Got it. So you don't want to let a little hole in the dam anywhere. You don't want to do any of that from that side. So talk a little bit about doing daily blessings. Why is that so important?
Daily blessings. Oh man. Okay, so when you can wake up in the morning, and this is what I tell people, just if they aren't part of the gratitude, if they aren't doing the book, if they're not doing the whole entire process, I tell them, I said, if you can wake up and set your day up with just 5 things that you're grateful for, I will guarantee that you will have a better day than the days that you don't wake up and find things to be grateful for. Because we wake up every day, we write out 10 things we're grateful for, why we're grateful for them, and then go back, reread them, and give thanks to every single one of them.
Nice.
Because the only thing that gives dividends like gratitude, there isn't. Gratitude is the only thing that gives out dividends. And it's crazy.
I know on a show last week with Miss Rhonda, she showed the gratitude book or the multiples of gratitude books that she has now created because of you, and was raving about the success tied to those daily gratitudes and things like that. That's awesome. So is there any residual effect when you do all this, when you do the the gratitude consistently, and does it change relationships around you? I mean, all of a sudden you're in probably a better place because you've been grateful, but if somebody hasn't been experiencing the same place, does it help get them there and lift them, or does it aggravate them?
It's the second part.
Okay.
It aggravates them. They tell you have changed. They tell you that you're not the same. Life can't be that easy. And some relationships were lost, Scott. Not some, mostly.
Really?
Yeah. The moment that I chose to choose me and choose a path for myself and my family to do better for us, people seem to not want to be around you. You're called selfish when you're doing selfful things. I'm not being selfish. I'm being selfful. I'm trying to help my family. I'm trying to grow my family. This baby that I'm going to have in September, this baby is going to come out with so much gratitude and so much appreciation for the world just on its own without having to know anything. But the people around me don't see it that way. They see it as a not so good of a thing. But like I said, a lot of people are there for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And I finally met people that are there for a lifetime, because time does tell you which category those people fall in. And when I look at some of the people that have been in my life, I've asked the question to Sean personally. I go, is it me, Sean? Is it that I've changed that much? Or have these people been this way this whole entire time and I'm finally seeing it? And he goes, it's both. You have changed. But remember, these people were this way the whole entire time. It just took you to step out to see it.
Right. You know, time either exposes or promotes, you know, and
Absolutely.
either you figure the opportunities out. It's one of the reasons I love doing the show, because there's no particular agenda. Some people might say, oh, there, you know, you should run a tighter ship or do any of that. I love the opportunity to just have conversations with good people that are learning great things and sharing great things so that other people can learn them. You know, I think that there's a lot of times we get around folks that, you know, you hear it all the time. You're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. If you don't like where you are, get better friends. And that's not being cruel. It's just being realistic in having to up level your game to the point where um, you know, you're happy for, you know, think of Marcy Scheimhoff's book, Happy for No Reason. You know, there's nothing wrong with being happy all the time and doing all that. It does make people look at you funny sometimes, for sure. But well, that's very cool. So um, have you seen people with like a massive breakthrough that all of a sudden was just so massively impacted through these calls or through a certain situation?
Um, so I have a couple of them that are still daily on my calls. And in particular, there's this one girl. I'm trying to think how to put this together. She was somebody who doubted that gratitude it can't be that easy. It cannot be that easy. And for a long time, she just couldn't understand. She did the practices, nothing. She did everything, nothing. And until she finally had her breakthrough to figure out that gratitude is a feeling, it is not, it's action too. You have to do things, but it is a feeling.
Right.
It is something inside of you. I can't give it to you. You can't give it to her. Nobody can give it to her except herself. And when she finally figured that out, the abundance around her just flowed in.
That's really awesome. So how do you get them to just do it?
Well, I did do a contest one time.
Okay.
I might have to do another one, but be a little more specific on it.
Got it.
But to be honest, I actually didn't have to do anything. I shared my story about what had changed in my life through this book, and they just kind of flocked.
That's awesome. So again, I know I'm watching a few comments, and Rhonda said you have definitely changed her life, which is cool, as has Sean. You know, what are some practices that people can do to start on this path? We'll get into how they can join you on the calls or things like that, but what are some of the simple things that they could do to start on this path themselves?
When they wake up,
Okay.
grab a journal, any type of journal, whatever kind of journal you want to grab, write out 10 things you're grateful for, and write why. The why is so important, of why you're grateful for those things. Go back, reread them, and say thank you for every one of those. If you can just do that practice, your life will change.
That's a consistency thing again.
Yes,
So
every day.
how do you make sure how do you make sure it happens?
And
What's a great tip to encourage somebody to continually make that happen?
for some reason, in my head, the only thing that's swarming around as you ask me that is, your life worth it?
So that's a pretty awesome question, quite frankly.
Like, I wanted to say something completely, but it just was downloading me. Say this, is your life worth the change? Are the people around you worth it? To make one small change in your day to keep chaos out of your life. For me, it was worth it.
I mean, I think
Now,
that those are two absolutely amazing questions. I mean, I was just writing them down myself. That's the one of the benefits of having shows like this and being able to talk to people is gaining different perspectives and different thought process. And what you just shared there, that was gold. I mean, those two sentences, is your life worth the change, and are the people around you worth that change? I mean, that's phenomenal if you really think about it. And you get into things like the tipping point, and where 17% of the population needs to be in a certain mindset for the tipping point for something new and better to take place and happen. I think we're at a time in our world, in our economies, and everything that's going on post-pandemic, if we can say post-pandemic, where these are really important questions. And I love the idea of being able to have a show like this, to have you encourage people to do this, because in fact, you started on this journey yourself, and you have now become the model for others to watch and communicate with and things like that. How else, leave everybody, if you would, with a little bit of wisdom on how to keep this thing going, and how to get started, how to keep it going, and how to be consistent going forward.
to get started, pick up the book.
Okay.
It's The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. She does a phenomenal job of explaining day by day. She gives a amazing intro on different cultures, different ethnicities that have used gratitude, and that has been the foundation of their cultures and what it has done. I mean, she even talks about Jesus, how Jesus gave thanks before he performed every miracle.
Right.
Just that one word of saying thank you, and not, here's the key to it all. Saying thank you, not only when you receive something, and not with an expectation.
Right.
That's huge.
No strings attached.
No strings attached, because that's where pure gratitude comes from. That's your joy, when there's no strings attached.
I think you just mentioned a very interesting word that a lot of people, especially with what's happened in the last year and a half, have missed out on or have not connected with, and that's the word joy. And do you feel that there's a true connection between gratitude and joy?
Absolutely. It's the bridge to it.
Well said. Love that. So how do people, my guess is you would welcome other people to your call. I guess I should have asked that before, but
No, absolutely.
Would you like other people to join your call, and how would they go about doing that if they wanted to?
Absolutely. If they would like to join us, I do it daily at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's www.gratitudewithdani.com, and it'll take you to my landing page. And from there, there's one button you click and you join us live on Zoom. And we do it every single day. We don't miss a day.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being here. I
Well,
know
Scott,
you were, I
having
know
me.
you were all concerned that it was going to be so hard and so difficult. Was it so hard and so difficult?
No, but I have to admit that I think I'm gonna have to change clothes when I walk inside.
No, this was excellent, excellent, excellent content, and really look forward to sharing it out on all the various channels that the show goes out to and everything. And look forward to joining you on your call.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast. I really did. This is definitely a courageous movement forward for me.
Perfect. Then
So thank you for
hopefully I did a little something for you. That's good.
you sure did. Thank you so much.
And you've got two big supporters that have been here the whole time and are certainly in your corner. And I think it's awesome all the way
Absolutely.
around. All the way around. Thank you,
If it
everyone.
wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be, honestly.
You've done excellent work just from what I've seen, and of course not nearly as close as Sean and Rhonda, but very cool to see. And congratulations on everything you accomplished. It's
Well,
really
thank
neat.
you.
That's
Thank
right.
you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us here at Scott Schilling Speaks. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Look forward to seeing you then. God bless.